Hey, good morning. It is time for Coffee Talk. I've got my coffee. It is daylight savings time. We just lost an hour, so it's early. Or no, it's earlier. It's later. It's later. Feels earlier. It is later, right? It's 7:17. It should be 6:16. I've lost an hour. Where has my hour gone? The government has taken my hour. All right. Welcome. We're doing Coffee Talk here. We're not talking about daylight savings. And I said government. We don't do politics here, so that's it. That's the whole thing. All right. What are we doing? We're gonna do some channel news. We're gonna do some missions and specials. We are gonna do some subjects du jour. March 11th. Frontline's coming back. Everybody getting excited for Frontline? Here it comes. And then we're gonna discuss a little. Puberty just hit again. We're gonna discuss a little bit about the Hawk 30 and a kind of interesting debate that it has stirred. Started a little bit by yours truly, at least on my YouTube channel, where we're talking about how good is the Hawk 30? How did Guido do in it? What's his opinion of it? And is that a part of the bigger meta discussion with wheeled tanks and everything else? So premiums, it's going to be fun. We'll talk about that. So let's dive into the channel news. Well, all right, channel news. What have we been doing? Well, you can see that I've got the Leo right here, the Swedish version of the Leo. Why am I playing the Leo, and why am I building research on it? Because you can see that I've got 11,000 over here, and I've unclicked the accelerate crew training. Well, that's because there are new Swedish mediums coming out. I've looked at it. Most of your tier 8 experience requirements are somewhere between 90 and 100, 120. I'm going to go to about 100 with this, and then let it sit, and then we'll see how it falls out. We may get better SA later on what the Swedish mediums will take. But if you want to start building up to be ready to unlock the Swedish medium, which apparently is going to split off at the Leo, then you may want to get ready for that. That's number one. Number two, standard playing the game. We are knocking out videos. Couple things to note. Not this coming week, but the week after. On the 16th, I will be out of town till the 22nd. I will have videos set up, probably one a day, probably not two a day, depending on how many I can get racked and stacked before I leave. I'm going on spring break with my son, so you will not see me doing any real live stuff. I will probably answer things on the YouTube channel and whatnot, but all those videos will be racked and stacked, so I'll be out of pocket. You won't see me. Well, actually, you may see me in game. I have a new laptop. I may take it, play a little bit, but we're going skiing, so I don't intend to sit around in the room and play World of Tanks. Not all the time, anyway. So that's what's going on there with the stream and the channel. Let's get a quick wheeled marathon update. This is over. How did Guido do? Come over here to events. You can oh, it's gone. It was there yesterday. So it is well and truly over. So that is a quick update on the wheeled marathon. It's over. I got to a 70% discount. 70% discount. All right, Hawk 30. So I have a Hawk 30 to give away. Yay, so I'm going to give away a Hawk 30. I also have some rental codes to give away. Yay. So on this video, just write down two things. Follow directions. Well, you don't have to follow directions, but if I don't have your in-game name, then I really can't give you the Hawk 30. My intention is to give this thing out at least by tomorrow or the next day so it's useful for Frontline. Tell me your favorite scout in the game. That's all I want to know. Just give me your favorite scout in the game. Also, too, and in addition, I have rental codes for some of these. I don't know how many. So there'll be a grand winner who will actually get a Hawk 30, and then it will be the runners-up who will get rental codes for Hawk 30s. So please, same thing. I'll just pick the winner, and then I'll pick. I'm arbitrary and capricious when it comes to this thing. It's not a show me your best whatever. Just tell me what your favorite scout is. And if I don't like it, you won't win. If you say something dumb, then you're not getting the prize. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone will be in the hopper. I do actually keep a list. My channel's small enough right now that I kind of know who's won. I've kept track of who's won most things. So I will try to obviously send it to somebody else. So that is what's going on with the channel. Let's move on to the missions and specials. All right, time to get our shill on. Let's make some money, baby. Come on. I get 42% of everything you buy with Wargaming. That's not true. It's not even close to true. All right. I have a premium account, so I have access to a Hawk. So it's early release. If you have a premium account, you have access to buying the Hawk. So if you just want to buy it, it is there. I can see it. You can see it. Warhawk 40K. We got a Centurion on sale, and then a bunch of Tier 6s. It's Tier 6 Madness in March. So lots of Tier 6s. We talked about that last week. Nothing really to add there. The Spearhead hardcover thing is still going on. You can still buy it and get the book. I did ask if we could turn those missions back on for the people who didn't quite get to the 500. No movement on that. I'm assuming it's not. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. My point was, why not? Okay, the book has run out. Why not just let people do the 500 and give them 20 colas or 50 or something, you know? But I guess the answer was niet. Not that I have that pool. I just suggested it in the Discord. It was said, hey, that's a good idea. I haven't heard anything else. So I'm assuming it's a dead letter. It's not a gigantic big deal, but I think it would have been the right thing to do, don't you? You look at this, you okay, I set this big thing up. We're going to have these books. It's really cool. I think they misjudged how many people were going to try to do it, because it's pretty cool to get a book in the mail, right, for free, just shipping right on. It's about tanks. It's things everybody likes. So there were people pressing for it. In fact, a lot of people got it quickly, and then they kicked out a lot of books, and they probably had a limit to begin with. They went over that limit. Okay, fine. It would have been really nice to tell us there was a limit at the beginning, but it was overlooked. Okay, fine. So you get to that point. You get to that point. Mistakes were made. Copy. And then you go, oh, wow, that's not good. That's a potential PR problem. I mean, wouldn't you immediately go, I think I have a potential PR problem here. I should maybe do something instead of just deleting the mission. And then putting a little update. There's a little update on the page. Oh, by the way, we ran out, sucker. Dude, come on, man. Look, it really isn't a big deal. Except that you made it a big deal, right? It's not a big deal, but you sort of made it a big deal, because all you had to do was go, by the way, continue to finish the mission. We'll just up the price to, if you really wanted to be cheap, make it 5 colas, and you added 2. Ooh, I would have made it 20. All right, fine, 20 colas. Who cares? But anyway, they made it nothing, so you'll get nothing and like it. All right. Oh, sorry, Wargaming. Sometimes you guys kill me, man. Sometimes you absolutely kill me. All right. Starter pack still there. This is a good deal. I say this all the time. It really is. For $5 and 3 days over a weekend, you can see if you like the game. I mean, really. You got some gold to move stuff around. You got a little extra credits to maybe buy a tier 3 or 4 tank or whatever it is that costs 100. What's 100? A 4? Maybe you can get a tier 4 or something like that. You're going to play to a tier 4 really quickly anyway. And you really enjoy yourself for a weekend and go, yeah, it's me, or no, it's not me. What a good deal. All right. That's my shield. That's how the first hit is free, my friends. Well, sort of. It's $5, but anyway, it's it's sort of free. We're not talking about that. Still makes me angry. We're going right by that. We're not talking about. Wait a minute. Was there more premium discounts? Okay, yeah, the 30-day is still on discount. That's an interesting one. I think that probably is a lot like the starter kit. They go, hey, the people who want their first hit, they're going to take that 30-day thing and go, hey, how do I like this game? Maybe they're not I just want to try it for 3 days. Maybe they want to give it the old college try at 30. So they give a little discount on the 30, and then you're hooked. Then you're coming back for more. You're selling the dog in the house and everything else. Dude, is a dog worth anything? I don't know. I don't know why I said sell the dog. Sell the car in the house. Sell the dog if it's worth something. I don't know. Whatever you got to do to get your premium, man. Whatever you got to do. All right, where are we? We're on vehicles. This is all the same stuff. The tier 6s. There's the Hawk action right there. And that's for another 22 hours. So here's what you do. If you want a Hawk right now, but you don't have premium, you go spend $5. You get your 3 days of premium. You roll in here, and you grab yourself the Hawk, and you're ready for Frontline. There you go. That's thinking outside the box. Some other discounts in here with 30 days for the tier 6s, for the tier 6 Madness. Not a whole lot else to add. This is a good tank. I do like the 5.1. I do enjoy that quite a bit, and that's a good Frontline tank. It really is. That's one of the good ones right there. At least to me, that's a good Frontline tank. And last but not least, I don't worry about boosters. We'll talk about where you should be getting a lot of boosters right now, up until the end of today or early tomorrow. Oh, this is all the same stuff. All right, let's move on to the missions. All right, here we are. I'm shrinking. One day I'm going to figure out the correct setup for this. I'm looking over at my OBS, and my stuff won't move all around while I'm doing this. But while I am in a learning mode, non-professional, you're just gonna have to deal with me moving stuff around as I record. Medium roast, very nice this morning, very nice, especially since I lost an hour. Thanks, government. Jeez. All right, tournament missions, yeah. Player tank class, right? Always good, always good, always good. What else we got? Hey, scavenger hunt. Okay, so I think everyone's scavenger hunt is probably fixed and working now. Depending on how many codes you redeemed or you put in, you should get up to, I think, 30 missions done. Top 10 experience on your team, win or lose, doesn't matter. And each one of those should give you 9, I think. Is it 9 or 3? I can't remember. Some reserves. Okay, personal reserves. This is a good deal. It did not kick off on Friday like it should have, but Domo got on top of it. They fixed it. It should be working. So it's only 30 battles over this weekend. You're coming to the end of it, so you've only got a little while. Interesting thing happened here. It used to have the counter up here, but UI guy, are you listening to me? Look at me, UI guy. Dude, come on. When your finish time thing came up, it went over the number of times I'd completed it. So why not have them both here? Okay, what are you doing? Now I have to click on the card to find out how many I've completed up there in the top right. Dude, come on. Fix this. This is little stuff. This is easy. Fix this stuff. I say it's easy. I don't code a single stitch, but I say it's easy. So it must be easy. UI guys like, right up your... Okay. Getting a little crazy this morning, aren't we? I think it's the loss of the hour that's got me punch drunk already. At 7:30, should be 6:30 in the morning. Tank Mastery, on track to the 13105. Has there ever been an on track that's been more ignored than this poor 13105 on track? This must be the saddest on track in all of history. What happened during the poor 13105's day in the sun? Well, wheeled vehicles got released. The Hawk 30 got released. Frontline's about to start tomorrow. Holy cow. Nobody cares about the poor 13105's day in the sun. That was random. That was random. Random tangents are now open and in order. Supply raids going on. That's always a good thing. Free stuff. Why not? Have at it. Other missions and whatever. There was a big not scavenger hunt, sheriff event this weekend with I think at least 2 clans or 2 groups of people. They may have been butted up against each other. I don't know if they're both going concurrently. So lots of guys running. I didn't play very much, and I saw probably every 3rd or 4th game there was somebody that was worth 250 gold. So hopefully you guys grab some of that gold. That's always a good deal. I actually tried to get one game just to be a big meanie. But I died horribly, so it didn't matter. I tried to get one. I mean, died horribly and didn't even come close. That's... All right, subjects du jour. Hey, check this out. They fixed the frontline thing. Haven't checked this, or maybe they patched it ready for the frontline thing. I'm not sure why, but now you can go to your little frontline thing. You click the tab up here, you click this drop down, you go to frontline, it takes you to here, and it doesn't go flashy and lose its mind. So cool. You can see I got to tier 18. I have 1 prestige level. I was on a little ways on to the next one, so I got to get back up to tier 30. So I do have a video on frontline out there. I know I say this every time and I never do it, but maybe I'll attempt to do it. I'm getting a little bit better with the YouTube editors, whatever they call it. The word now escapes me, early onset Alzheimer's. So I should be able to put the little clicky guy up on the top right and let you know where that video is. But that's a kind of overview on how to play Frontline. You can see that it starts in 22 hours. In 22 hours, you get another week of Frontline. Really, you should be looking to get 1 prestige level a week if you're planning on getting as much of the prizes as you can. And that's really all I got to say about that. Here's a little wacky thing. Remember I talked about a week ago or maybe 2 weeks ago with update 1.4.1, they are going to have special skins for I was going to call them characters for your crew. I guess now they're characters, I don't know. But you can see that there's some examples. I don't know if this is actually from Wargaming or not. That's kind of funny if it is. This happens to be on the daily bounce. And I liked it. I was looking at this, I'm like, what on earth? Okay, these are generals, got it. So kind of famous generals noted. And then I'm like, a horse. But he's got a horn, so I'm assuming that's a unicorn. All right, so unicum. Then a tomato. Okay, you got a tomato if you want to be a tomato. RNG. I'm assuming that stands for RNG or dice roll. I have no idea. No idea what that's supposed to be. It's like Sven or it's a, I don't know. This one I think is a crayfish, which is what I think the Russians call their bad players. Crayfish. He's waving. It's like, hey, what's happening? More famous people, and then we get into the stereotypes. then we roll right into the stereotypes, the national stereotypes. I like this guy. What is it? What's he? Oh, it's a cigarette, I think. This dude, this one, dude. Wargaming. Oh my God. Anyway, I thought that was pretty funny. So this was interesting. We have the Hawk 30 right here, and I did a review on it. I didn't do so well. I had a 30% win rate, low sample size, but even so, I played 20 battles. I don't remember the last time I played a tank to 20 battles and had a 30% win rate. Any tank at any tier. Yes, outliers can happen. No, I don't think it's completely the tank. Did that affect my review a little bit? Yeah, absolutely. Of course it does. You have to be honest with yourself, but I don't think that much. I was pretty honest with the tank. What I came down on was that the tank was average. It's a balanced premium tank. But there are some interesting caveats because some of the things I said in there, people not took me to task, but had different opinions, which is good. And we started to discuss those things. And it was interesting because I think it talks to the larger meta of the game. So let me just kind of paraphrase what I talked about, and then we'll get into some of the counters to it. I said it was an average, balanced, light tank, but let's go ahead and set the stage because I only compared it against the other premiums, all right? And that is set against the backdrop of the power creep of premiums and light tanks getting better and better, and all of them across the board being better than the tech tree. And at tier 8, at light tank, it's really obvious. I think at tier 8, at heavy tank, it's pretty obvious as well, and some other tiers, it's pretty obvious, but it's really glaringly obvious here because if you look at this, and these are all the light tanks in the game at tier 8, unless I'm missing some special premiums I'm not aware of. I've got them all. You know, we've got the Hawk 30, the LT 432, very good premium, the M41D, very good premium tank. The GF, very good. The only one of the premium tanks that's not really that great, and that's again because it is compared against the rest of them, is the T92. But that's where I went with the Hawk on my review. I said, we are only going to look at the premium tanks. It is head and shoulders above all of the tech tree tanks. It's just not a question really in my mind. So when I said, hey, this is a balanced premium tank, that was in relation to the other premium light tanks. And some people took me to task for that, and that's noted, absolutely. And I probably should have been a little bit clearer when I did my review that that's kind of where I was coming from. I think that was the background idea. That's what I was getting at, but I didn't clearly and specifically say it. Now, to some extent, this is going to sound like a defense. It's not a defense. Bring it on, man. Any opinions you have or ideas or things you see that I say that are wrong or you think is wrong, let's talk about it. That's fine, man. And there doesn't have to be a resolution either. I mean, we can both go our separate ways, be friends, and have different opinions. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I think the debate is the interesting part, and you can learn things. Even if you don't turn somebody completely to your side, you can often give them a couple other points to ponder and change their thoughts a little bit. And over time, maybe you both come closer together. At least you have an understanding of what each other's position is. All right, that's my random tangent for this thing. So when I did the review and I came down on the idea that it was a balanced premium tank, I also started to posit and ponder, you know, why is it the way it is? Why did I do not very? Why did I not have really a great time in the Hawk 30? And to some extent, it was what I talked about it being kind of average as in relation to the rest of the premium tanks. But then I started rolling the other ideas because I will tell you what, I got absolutely owned by wheeled tanks. And since I've played about 300 or 400 battles in wheeled tanks in the last month or so, or 3 weeks, whatever it's been since they were released, I have absolutely been owning regular light tanks myself. They can get in, they can get out, they don't get tracked. You just get strafed. If you get wounded in a light tank and there's a wheeled tank around, it's like watching a hawk above you and you're the rabbit. you know that dude is coming after you, right? He sees you, you're wounded, and you're like, well, it's just a matter of time before he comes swooping in here and tries to take me out. And if you don't go for cover early and try to get away, he's going to eat you. I mean, that is literally what it feels like in these things, that you are getting hunted by the wheeled tanks in a lot of cases. Now, obviously, if you play well, do the right things, then you can avoid being wiped out by the wheeled tanks. But they are very vulnerable to them for all the reasons I've talked about quite a bit, actually, on wheeled tanks lately. So that was part of it, the idea that wheeled tanks have come at about the same time that they're releasing this thing, that the meta is shifting a little bit. This is an average premium tier 8 light tank, and it's going to have a hard time coping with wheeled tanks and the new meta. That doesn't mean it's not competent. That doesn't mean it's not worth your money. That's entirely to taste. I don't make recommendations based on if I think it's worth your money. That is completely up to you. You know, there's lots of different players. There's collectors, there's completionists, there's people who just want the best meta thing, whatever the case may be. And that's all cool. But I'm more just coming down on the fact that this tank is a competent tier 8 premium light tank. I certainly would not put it above some of the others. In my opinion, the 432 is just straight up better. The 41 Delta is better as a scout. There is a good debate going on right now, which is another part of what's been happening on my channel and in the forums, about whether the 4190 GF is better or the Hawk is better. There are fans of the two sides. The Hawk does have some things over the 4190 GF. It's got a little bit more pen. It's got 2 degrees more gun depression. It's got slightly better dispersion, but it's got much worse aim time. And I talk about that in my review just a little bit as well. I still consider the 4190 GF better, but I do better in it, obviously. I have a lot more battles in it. So you have to weigh those two things. If I got to 400 or 500 battles in the Hawk 30, then maybe I would change my opinion, but right now I'm saying the 4190 is better. That is the danger in just going pure numbers. When you're doing comparisons, you do have to take into account your play style, how you're doing it, things like that too. So to some extent, there is some personal input on all these things when YouTubers and community contributors give their opinions on tanks. Obviously, it's colored by their own experience and their own skill level and what they happen to like in the game. I don't hate it. I just think it's a very average, in amongst the slightly above average as a whole, tier 8 light tanks. So I just thought there was an interesting debate, and there's a lot of good back and forth going on. Check out the video, actually, or just read the comments. And also go to the official forums. I'm not sure if there's much on Reddit about it, but go to the official forums. There's a lot of back and forth on the Hawk 30. Now, one good point that was brought up several times, both by community contributors and by some of the people in the forum, is, you know, Wargaming released this because of Frontline, or to be used in Frontline, or in conjunction with Frontline. Okay. Yeah, if that's a marketing strategy, it's pretty smart. It's a tier 8. It works in Frontline. It's mobile, has a good gun. Probably going to sell quite a few for people trying to get ready for Frontline. So, is that the only reason it was released? I don't think so. I think these files, I'm pretty sure these files have been kicking around in the client for a long time on the Hawk 30. And they're just looking to release, I don't know, what do they release a premium? Once a month now? There used to be some long dry periods between premiums, but it really has accelerated. They're really kicking these things out. One has to wonder how many we can absorb, but at the same time, I think, well, here's the deal. If you have X number of players and they buy X number of premiums a month, whether you have 1 premium to buy or 50 premiums for them to buy, I don't know how that matters. It's choice at that point. It gives them lots of different choices. So the other side of that, though, the difficult part is now premiums are I don't know, are they outnumbering tech tree tanks? They got to be coming close, or at least maybe half as many. I'm not sure. I should look that number up. That number might be interesting. A third to half, maybe a third, quarter. There's so many of them, and the benefits of credits and experience are so important in the game that if you look at many of your battles, it's half premium, if not a majority premium tanks in a lot of cases, until you get tier 9 and 10 where there just aren't that many. Becomes reward tanks and things like that. But at tier 6 and 8, there's a ton and lower, a ton of premium tanks. So I guess I'm on both sides of the fence with the numbers of them out there. I don't think they could necessarily have too many, but the idea that they're just plain better than most of the tech tree tanks, it makes you wonder, well, why does anybody even play the tech tree tanks? You know, we're grinding, grinding, grinding. It's a long, hard grind to get to those things. All right, last thing we'll talk about, because it just reminded me, is this new idea of blueprints, which we talked about. I've been thinking about that just a little bit. And I think it's tied into what I was just discussing a little bit, which is why it jogged my memory. If you started today, some of you may be brand new players, some of you may have just started, and you've gone down 2 or 3 lines, and you're looking at the sheer number of lines and countries and tanks. You might be thinking to yourself, there is no way I'm ever getting to where Guido is, who has unlocked every tank in the game. Now, I've been playing for 7 years, 6, 7, whatever it is, maybe 8 years. So I've unlocked it all, but that's a long time down the road. And in a game as mature as this, are you going to have the time to get to that? I'm wondering if Wargaming's blueprint idea, where you collect blueprints and get discounts on the experience requirements for tanks, is to help people maybe speed up through the tech tree lines. For a long time, they were kind of loath to do that, other than ×2s and things like that with experience. But I think if you look at it and you're a brand new player and you're looking at the daunting task of trying to get cool tanks that you want, and you want to play them, you want to get to the end of the line, you want to check out the Tiger, you want to get the IS, you want to check out the Swede crazy TD line, it'd be very daunting to me if I was looking at going, good God, that's going to take me a long time of grinding. So I think maybe Wargaming's thinking about speeding that up a bit with these blueprints and helping people get down lines a little bit faster. That brings other problems with newer players getting into the end tiers, but to be quite honest, that happens anyway. So whether they're in a new tier in the 1 tank they ground up to, or 3 tanks they got through with blueprints, doesn't make a whole lot of difference, really, to be quite honest. Maybe other than the speed at which they can hit battle. All right, guys, let's wrap this up. Well, that is all I've got. Remember, down in the comments, go ahead and put your favorite light tank. One person will win the Hawk 30. Several, I don't know how many, will get rental codes. I'll kick that out. Make sure your World of Tanks NA in-game name is there. Sorry, EU and everybody else. I should mention that every time. I'm unable to give codes for EU. The problem is, and they are talking about this, making some codes universal so that different CCs from different regions, because we have audiences that do start to span different regions. Not necessarily me very much, but some of the big guys really do. It's painful, I know, but right now, for the moment, it's only NA folks for my channel, at least as far as these codes go. I do appreciate you being here, though. Obviously, if you're EU, Southeast Asia, wherever it is that you are from, right on. And hopefully we can start to get universal codes that work for you guys as well. All right, that is all I've got. We talked about channel news. We talked about the missions and specials. Did I mention put your in-game name? I think I did. A little bit about Frontline coming up, and then a big, long discussion about the Hawk 30. And I think some larger meta situation with it, which I think is important. All right, guys, that's all I've got. Later.